Sila.
Thank you, grandson. Go ahead.
What we're doing in our community is just we want to illustrate and highlight the challenges with some of our community members in regards to COVID, and so we're trying to be proactive, and we're trying to draw attention to our urban population. Our tribe is really unique. We're in a metro tri-state area, and so there are some organizations that come together to address the pandemic, and so we're attempting to reach tribal members that live in Woodbury County or in the area. We may not understand it fully, but later on in the future, we could really learn from all of this, and so I think it's important work, and I think it's it's something that as we go forward in the future in dealing with crisis, this could really help people in the near future, and also it's really we're taking a look at ourselves, and it's really defining us as people, as who we are.
First, I want to thank you for offering me this tobacco in a respectful way. You have to excuse me because it is the reason that I'm here is because of this pandemic, that I'm here in this place. My name is Delberta Frazier. I'm Santee Sioux. I'm a school teacher for Umonhon Public School. I'm the culture teacher there. I reside in Macy, Nebraska on the Omaha Reservation. But today I'm here back home on the Santee Sioux Reservation because of this pandemic. We were released from work back in March, right during our springtime break. And my kids said, Mom, back in January, Mom, this coronavirus thing, we're hearing about it. And I said, pay attention to it. I said, they said that about the Ebola. They said that about, but as soon as they get to the borders, our leadership will take care of us. It's not going to come this far. They said that about the bird flu, all those things. But they had protocol in place to keep us safe. But I guess our leadership dismantled those safety guidelines from what I know. And then here it is. We're being released from work, and everybody's don't know what to think, and my faith, I don't get fearful. I have faith in Creator that He's going to look out for my family. And we got released from work, and these guidelines come down, and then it hit me, I got scared because then I started watching. I don't own I don't watch regular TV, I'll watch like movies and stuff like that, but I don't watch television. So I don't watch news all the time. And then staying at home, I said, well, maybe we ought to start watching and seeing what's going on. And then we've seen all the people dying out in New York City, and all the people lining up for food and stuff, everything's shutting down, and then, what, I think this is really, really gonna happen. So I start telling myself, I start praying. In the morning times, I wake up and I pray and I sing and I offer, smudge my home. Something told me, about 2 or 3 weeks in March, you need to go home. And I told her, I said, well, I'm going to come home. So I'm going to camp out and go to the Sundance grounds. We've been talking about putting a garden in here because my mother, she comes from a time where they didn't have EBT and commodities and things like that. They raised their food, or they worked for the farmers, and then they got their own food. They had cellars. She talks about when they used to plant potatoes, and they would prepare their food and process their own food and, live by their own hand. They had that. My grandmother, Mercedes Trudell, and Grandpa Louis Denny, and her grandma, Grandpa, taught her that way of life. Then for a couple generations, it went away, my mother, she was telling me, she said, Delberta, she said, I have a fear for the future, for the children. She said, we need to start teaching this way of life back to them, picking medicines and growing our own food, learning how to take care of ourselves again. We have to be independent. We can't depend on other people. She said the tribe just brought me a donation. She said it wasn't even tribal funds, it was a donation of food that they gave us. And so, you know, I loaded my whole vehicle up as much as I could, you know, everything that she'd need, so she wouldn't have to go out, you know, go out to public places, you know. And she was real grateful for that. And then so by May 1st, we came here. I got some pictures of how it looked. There wasn't no leaves on the trees, you know. It was still, you know, still the winter, spring was just coming. And it was just all, you know, brown and everything. And we put our tents up, and then we started working, and we started praying. My sons came first. My son Simon, he's over there. He came, and my son Wakia, and my daughter Mishinga, and my grandson, a couple of my grandkids, they came, and it was still cold. It's frosting at night, but they stayed here. A couple of nights they had to sleep inside the sweat lodge because it was so cold, but they didn't want to leave. And so then I came like on May 12th. I came because I still was I'm under contract with the school, so I had, you know, to do Zoom meetings, and then I still was preparing, you know. It took me, I'd probably say, like 4 loads of stuff to get all the things here that we needed to, you know, stay. And then day by day we were fixing things up. So I said, you know, it was so close to the city and stuff, I worried about it, you know. So I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna stay, and so hopefully we can ride this out, you know, keep my family safe. So we got down here, and my kids, they found a little bit of rocks that was left over there, and it sweat, you know. I have a sweat there, and we pray. Our first tent broke, and then so I went and got another couple. I got another one, and then my daughter, she said, "Mom, I'm just gonna stay overnight, or to stay the weekend." She said, because there's too many of us, you know, and there's not enough place for us to stay safely, you know, in the tents. And so then that was my oldest daughter, and plus she was going to school at NICC, and she went back. May 1st, that's when they got their first case in Macy. Or no, it was like May 4th, May 5th. A young man was working at, I think at Seaboards, and some of at Tyson's. I think there was 3 of them. And then, you know, because they were going back and forth, they got sick. And then so one of them, they put him in quarantine. And he, instead of staying in quarantine, he had one of his relatives passed away and down at in a prison, and they was bringing his body back. And he was so hurt, you know, he went, broke his quarantine, and he went to the funeral. They said there was 60 some people at that funeral, and they were all hugging, and they weren't following the guidelines. You know, I don't think that they, you know, disregarded that or whatever, but their grief came first in their traditions, you know, to gather and to mourn together, that they didn't realize, you know, how powerful this COVID was going to be. And then one of my friends, he was at that funeral, and it was funny because I've known him since I was like 12 years old, and I just happened to check my mail before I was leaving here to Macy, and he said, "Hey Delberta, good morning to you. How are you?" "So good, it's getting along." We share a granddaughter together, and he passed away from COVID last month. And then one of their uncles passed away from COVID, and then our people started getting sick, and young people. One of my boys well, he's not a boy, he's a man, but he got sick. He's on Facebook, and he's, people, please, he said, stay home. All of the guidelines, he said, I'm really sick. He said, and this COVID's no joke. Please. And then so I told my daughter, I keep telling my daughter and them, stay home, don't go nowhere. And I tell my son-in-law, I said, don't go to your mother's and your auntie's house. I said, I know you want to see them. I said, but we got to stay, you know, in our own homes. We can't go visiting. Here, last week, you know, they're required to wear masks. It's a law now in Macy. You have to have a mask on when you're out in public. Otherwise, you get fined for it. And my son-in-law, thank God, he had his mask on, but he went over there to his aunt's house last week. And his aunt's daughter was living on the streets up in Sioux City. Here she got COVID up there. Came home and got diagnosed in Macy last week. She got diagnosed. I called down there and I said, what's going on? And they said, you guys, I told you to stay home. My heart just broke. Because I thought, you know, my grandkids are all up there. They were here and I had to send them home because these tents all broke. Then last night, my daughter, we went up on the hill because this is where we get service at. That young lady, she died yesterday. She's only 22 years old. My son-in-law's niece. They don't know what happened. They don't know if it's foul play, but she was supposed to be in quarantine down in that big out park. She's only 23 years old and she's Umahas, they say, Dinge, she's no more. Oh. I looked on her and every week since I've been gone, they're burying people back home. When I got here, because it was cold, we got running water over there, but there's a place up there at the land management. It's a shower house. They have an RV park there in a shower house, and always in the past we were allowed to go there and take showers when we were camping here. So that's what we did. But after, I think we was here about a week and showered there maybe about 3 or 4 times. And I was at my mom's house. And here my kids went over there and they come back and my daughter, she was 17. She was so shaky and she said, Mom, she said those cops came down here when I was in the shower and they kicked that door in. And they told us to get out of there. She said, they told us that we were trespassing. And I said, what? And then the day before that, I seen that manager, that guy that works at land management, and he stopped me. He said, hi Delberta, how are you? He said, I just want to let you, tell you guys that you guys are using that shower over there, that's for the RV campers only. And if you guys want to use it, you have to pay. And I looked at him and I said, really? And I said, well, we always showered there in the past years since it was built. And I said, well, if you have to pay, how much is it? He said, well, it's $300 a month or $8 a person if you want to do it by the day. And I looked at him and I said, you're kidding me, really? I said, you want me to pay you $300 to shower in there? Because it was disgusting. I mean, we just went in there because it was, we didn't have no place to shower and we're trying to make do, trying to clean ourselves up. And I had my grandchildren with me, I got to clean them up. In my mom's house, I could shower there, but there's a bunch of us, can't then run her shower house. There's 2 showers there. And then I said, wow. I said, why don't you ask the tribal council? I said, they always let us take showers here for free. And I said, can you find out? He said, yeah, I'll look into it. So that was like on a Wednesday. And that next day is when those cops came. And they went and told my kids that they were trespassing on private property. My kids are enrolled here, So how can who called the cops, and would do that to them, We're having a hard time. He said, who told you that, or who authorized that for you guys to take showers there? Because we asked the tribal council, and they were all clueless. None of them even knew anything about it. And I said, you know what? I said, what's my Uncle Ike? I said, but he's gone now. I said, he's the one that helped build that. And I said, that's why nobody knows anything about it. And so I got upset. And I said, you know what? I said, anybody has any rights or trespassing? I said, my grandfather hung. My great-great-grandfather was hung in Mankato, Minnesota. His name was Makata Aka'inaji. He was the youngest one there, and he hung, died, for us to have this place. And I said, my grandfather signed those treaties for us to have this place. And you guys gonna treat us like we're trespassers? How can you do that to us? Wow, I don't know, Delberta. And I said, you know what? I said, I know who I am. I said, who are you? No, Delberta. And, called him out. He couldn't even say who he's descended from, So then when I heard about them getting that CARES Act money, it was like a glimmer of hope too. But I guess I lost faith in my leadership to do what I'm doing. So I put that garden in over there, planted what little I could. Even that, the tribe has a man that's supposed to go around tilling gardens. He promised my mom, it's April, that he was going to come down here and till. And he didn't. And then somebody else promised they were going to come down here and till for us. So on June 1st, my mother, poor thing, she just lives on Social Security and her husband's pension. She bought that tiller over there, $700 for a brand new tiller. Because she knows she's thinking to the future about being independent, growing our own food, not depending on people. I guess they were even talked about in their meetings. So in one of their, if you look at their minutes, one of them is, we're going to help people on the reservation with the grocery voucher, whatever, but not those that are coming to the reservation intentionally, that aren't residents here. So that was just specifically towards us, that they were not going to help us at all. You can look at those minutes on there. I read it and I was like, have they totally lost their traditional values? Have they totally lost their way?
Our leaders from, a different era were actually some of the poorest people.
Yeah.
Because they gave. They ensured that, a lot of, families underneath them were taken care of. And sometimes that required them to give of what they had, And today, when we define that leadership, and we look around, we see, who is really benefiting, from this colonized way of governing our people. What is your impression of I guess I'm trying to ask this question, and your outlook, I guess, on the help that you may get or may not get. What's your impression? What can you expect?
From my experience and my interactions with them, nothing. It's like they don't have the experience or the will or desire to help beyond that. That they lost their understanding of what it is to be a tribe. What it is to be all related. They lost that ability. Because I don't see it, we didn't come here to harm anybody. We just come here to want to live in peace. The Buffalo Calf Pipe woman promised that we carried that chanupa that would live in peace, the land. So we had a really great experience this summer being here. You know, feeling that peacefulness, even though amid all the chaos that's going on around us, that we still can learn these traditional ways, and I hope. And I'm so thankful you guys came and shared the story so that people, you know, that there's places like this and that there is peace in the world, but people have to just be able to see it, you know, want to see it. Yeah, man, that's beautiful.